Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn C# programming language, and you might be thinking, should I start to learn C# or not? To whom this course has been designed, and here is your answer. If you are an absolute beginner, you can start with C#. It's an easy language, it's an object-oriented language. It has many benefits, like you can create desktop applications, web applications, and even RESTful APIs. And there are so many things Microsoft provide. For those things you need to learn C#. Okay, and even if you are not a beginner, you have some knowledge of programming language, you can also learn C#. If you want to learn a new language, and if you are just upgrade your skills and trying to learn some new coding languages. So let's get started, and first we will download the Visual Studio. For that, just use this link. Just type download Visual Studio. Okay, click on this link, and here you will see option of Visual Studio 2019 community version. Okay guys, it's a free version, and as it is saying, powerful ID, free for students, open source, contributors and individuals. So you can download it for free and use it for your individual purpose, and it's absolutely free, have no cost, and it is one of the best IDE in the market. It is the easiest IDE. Okay, just click on the download link, because I have downloaded and installed it already, so I am not going to download it. Just download it and install. After installing the Visual Studio, just follow these steps. Click on this icon, create a new project. So we are going to create console app with .NET Core. Click on next button, name it as it is, remain it as console app only. Click on create icon. Okay, it will gonna take some time. Okay guys, here we have created a new project, and as you are seeing that there is some piece of code in the screen. Let me explain what is this. It is using system. By using, we can import inbuilt libraries and namespaces from the C# libraries. And namespace is used for organizing your code. And class, because C# is a object oriented language, so nothing runs without creating a class. You need to create a class first. So here is a class named program, and inside this you are seeing static void main. It is a main method. Your program starts from here. Whenever you run this application, it will start from the main method. Okay, so we are going to run our first code, which is printing hello world. Okay, click on this icon or click F5, whatever you find easy. So here is our output, hello world. Okay, till now we haven't write anything. Now we are going to write some code. First of all, I am going to explain you what is class. So class is basically a blueprint where you can define some code like methods, variables, etc, etc, and after that you can create objects. The objects will use those blueprints, and that's it. So we are going to create a class, public class test. So it is a class, and how you will comment the code? You can comment the code using this for a single line, and for multi-line you can use this. Okay, inside the class we are declaring a method public void display, and will print console dot write line. Hello again. So console.write line prints a line in the console and go to the new line. So we are just removing this stuff, and now we will create an object of class test. Test obj equals to new test. It is the object of the class test. Now you can use functionality inside the test class from this by using this object. obj.display is the method we have defined above. Now we can use it here. So I have called a method display. Okay, now run this program and let's check. Yes, it has printed hello again. So that was a class and object. Okay. Okay, now we are going to learn data types and variables. Data types. So what? And variables. So what is variable? Variable is a thing which store your data, or you can say which hold your data, so that you can perform some operations like add, subtract, etc, etc, or something else. Maybe you can store a string on the variable and boolean value like true, false, and data types define the type of that variable. It is gonna define which type of value that variable is going to store there are some variables, some data types. First we are discussing int. So int is an integer type which stores the integer. So int is a data type and num is variable. Okay, and we are going to assign 5 to it. So int is a data type, num is a variable, and 5 is a number which is assigned to it. Okay, there are some other data types like bool checked equals to true, check equals to true, and long float n equals to 3.1, double n equals to double, d equals to 3.1, and what another p. There are some other types. These are the basic data types. So I hope it is clear now. And if you want to convert one data type to another, it is called typecasting or type conversion. Suppose you have a type int I equals to 9, and you have a variable double j. You want to assign j equals to I. You want to assign j equals to I. Oh, I have removed main method. That's why it is creating an error. Okay, it is not giving any error, but if it is a double and it is a integer and you are going to assign I into j, then it is throwing an error. Cannot implicitly convert type double to int. An explicit conversion exists. Are you missing a cast? Okay, so we are going to convert it. Convert dot to int 32 I. So it's fine now. So it is called typecasting in C#. Now we are going to learn how to strings. So if you want to store a string, there is an inbuilt class in C# called string, where you can store your strings, and syntax is like string s equals to xyz. So it is the string. You can print it console.writeLine as XYZ. There are some methods of some inbuilt methods of a string, like length method, s.length. Sorry, it's not a method, it's a property. And you can find the length of a string through this property 3. And if you want to convert it to the upper caste, just write to upper. It will convert XYZ to the uppercase. Let's check. Yes, XYZ. And if you want to convert it to the lower case, XYZ to lower, you can write to lower. XYZ. These are some basic methods or properties which are frequently used in strings. Now let's move to the next topic called decision making. Okay, so there are few topics inside it: if else, and switch. First, talk about if. First, we are going to talk about if. If you want to make a decision whether you are going to execute that code or not, you can use if statement. Okay. So it is a syntax just like int I equals to 1. If I equals to 1, then execute this line of code, console.writeLine. I am inside the if block. Okay, so let's check it. Is it gonna? I am inside the if block. So this line has executed since it is following the since it is a true statement, because I equals to 1, so this line is executing. If we change it to 2, then it is not going to execute. Let's check it. So there is nothing in the output. So basically it is just for the checking if you want to execute that particular line of code in some certain condition. But what if you want to need else block? What if you want to execute something else? If I equals to 1, print I am inside the if block, else do something else. So for this we have a else block. So if I equals to 1, it will go to this block, otherwise it will go into this block. Just copy and paste here. I am inside the else block. So now I equals to 2, then it is saying I am inside the else block. Okay, But what if you have multiple if statements? Then there will be a lengthy code. To overcome this problem, C# had designed switch. So let's talk about switch. Switch can overcome the problem of multiple if statements, and it is neat and clean to look wise. So just write program for switch. First of all, we are going to take input from the user. Console.writeLine, enter a program, enter a character. It is a program for finding a character is vowel or not. Okay, enter a character, and we are going to take input from the console, so we will use console.writeLine. Console.readLine. ReadLine is basically a method which takes input from the user through the console. So, and we are going to store that input into a variable which name ch, that is char type. It means it can accept only one character, and console.readLine. So look, readLine is a function. ReadLine is a function that stores input from the console that user enters, but it is giving an error because console.readLine reads a line from the input string and it is a character, so we need to typecast it. We are going to convert it to char. Because it is string type, as you can see, string console.readLine, so we need to cast it into the character. Next line is switch ch. We are going to convert into the lowercase char dot to lower ch. So first case is a. If case is a, then it will print console.writeLine. It is vowel and break. So break is a statement which immediately exit from the program, from the block. So next, we are going to create some more cases like E, it is a vowel, O, it is also a vowel, I, O, and the last one is U, and a default case, default. So if you press anything other than anything from A, E, I, O, U, it will go to the default block. Console dot write line, it is not vowel, and break. Okay, let's execute a program. Here it is saying enter a character. I have entered A, it is vowel. Okay, now again execute. E, it is also a vowel. Again execute. B, it is not vowel. So our program is completed now. Our switch statement is complete. Now let's move to the next chapter, which is called loops. Loops can help you to iterate a thing. If you have a code which is repeating again and again, then loops can be handy on that situation. Okay, there are some types of loop in C#. First is while, second is do while, third one is for, and for each. Okay, that's it. So first we are going to check how while works. So okay, int I equals to 5, int I equals to 1, while I is less than 5, console dot write line I plus plus. Let me explain. First of all, we have assigned I equals to 1, and what is this? While I is less than 5, it means until I is less than 5, this line is going to execute, and after that it will increment by 1. So plus plus is basically an increment operator which will increment the value of I by 1. Okay, so in the first step I equals to 1, then it will enter to this block, print I, means it will print 1 in first step, then it will increment the value of 1. So now value of I is 2, and 2 is less than 5, so again it is going to execute this line, but now value of I is 2, so it will print 2, then it will print 3, then it will print 4, then it will check, it will go for the 5, but 5 is less than 5, so it will execute, so it will exit from the loop, and it will just print 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, but if, okay, just check it first, what is gonna print 1, 2, 3, 4, but if we put a sign of equals to here, it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is our while loop. Now move to the do while. Do while is same as while, but there is only one difference. It will must execute once whether a condition is satisfied or not. Okay, let's check it how do while works. First of all, int I equals to 0. Do console dot write line I equals to 0. So you are thinking, what is 0 inside the bracket? I will explain it later. First write the code. First complete this section of code. I plus plus while I is less than 5. Let's check what it is going to print. It has printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if we will assign 5 to it, then it will execute only this line, because there is no condition for going to execute this line. But after that it will exit from the block. So it will just print 5 now. I equals to 5. Okay. I hope you have understood the while and do while loop. Now we are going to move to the for loop. For loop is just same as while loop, but just some syntactical changes, and it is easy to use. For I equals to 0, I is less than, and I equals to 0, I is less than equals to 5, I is less than 5, I plus plus. Console dot write line I equals to, so it is nothing but a placeholder where you can hold a value of variable I. If you have multiple variables, then you can use like this 1, 2 and append some more variables here like j, k, l, etc, etc. But now we have only one variable, we are not going to use it. We are going to just use I. So result is the same. Let's talk about for each loop. For each loop is also like a for loop, but we do not need, but we basically need it in arrays, etc, etc. I'm going to explain it later in the arrays. So move to the next chapter. access modifier. What is access modifier? Access modifier defines the scope, visibility scope of your code, or you can say class or method, etc., etc. There are these access modifier named public. By using this modifier, your class or method will be visible to the everyone. Protected, it will show only to the derived class. Private methods will be shown. Private method or class will be shown only to the class level. You cannot access it outside the class. Internal method or class will be accessed only to the current project. And last one is protected internal. Protected internal will be accessed. You can access protected internal to the other assemblies which are inheriting your assembly. So just check it. Public class student. Now check it. Student is visible here. Okay. Public void get student. So student stu equals to new student. You can see stu dot get student. So this method is public, so you can access it easily. But what if this method is private? Let's check. Yeah, you cannot access it. It will only access to this class. Only member of this class or code of this class can access this method. Okay, let's move to the next topic, arrays. So arrays are a special kind of data types which can store sequential data. Let me explain how it will store the sequential data. Int arr equals to new int 5 3 4 5 6 7. So it is a sequential data 3 4 5 6 7, and we are going to store it in this variable arr. Okay, now we can get the single value of array through its index. So basically it is a 0 index, it is 1, it is 2, it is 3, and it is 4. Console.writeLine arr 0. It's 3. arr 2 it's 5. 0, 1, 2. Yes, it is 5. If you want to access the whole array, you have to use the loop for int I equals to 0, I is less than arr dot length I plus plus console dot write line I. Yes, it has printed the whole array 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use for each loop. You can also use the for each loop for accessing the elements of array, or you can use any loop like do while, for each. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So it is the for each loop that I did not covered in the previous topic and said that I will cover in the array topic. Okay, array are finished. So let's move to the next topic, which is exception handling. So what if you have find an error in your code and you do not want to crash your application for that bug? For that kind of situation, C# have created exception handling. So let's see how to use exception handling. First, we will create an error and we are going to create a popular divide by 0 problem. So int I equals to 5 console dot write line I divided by 0. Yeah. It has thrown an exception called system divide by 0 error. It is saying attempted to divide by 0. It is exception. We cannot accept it. So what to do? To overcome these kind of scenarios, C# have created exception handling by using try and catch. So let's check how to use try and catch. So basically, try is a block which will execute your code, and if any error comes in your code, it will go to the catch block. So put that code in the try block. Try, and if any error happens, it will go to the catch block, exception ex. So just print the exception ex dot message. Let's check what is going to happen. It has printed attempted to divide by 0. That's simple. It is our try catch. It is very useful when you will create an real application. You must know it. So our next topic is inheritance. You have seen it in previous topic, but I did not discuss it because I am going to discuss it now. So inheritance is a functionality by which you can access the functionality of other class. So let's check how to implement inheritance. First, we are going to create a base class which has major functionalities, and then we will create a derived class which will derive from that base class, and that class will use the functionality of base class. Class name is class shape. Sorry. I have wrote it inside the main method. I have to write it here. Public class shape, and it have two protected methods, two protected variables, name and width and height. Now we are going to create some accessor methods through which we can access these variables. First method is set public void set width, and it will take a parameter int w. Width equals to w. Now we are going to create another accessor method, public void set height int h. Height equals to h. Okay, now we are going to create a new class named rectangle. It is a derived class. We say it derived class because it is deriving functionalities from the shape class. Shape class is a base class. And we are writing a method to get the area of the rectangle. Public int get area, and it will return width into height. So now we are going to create an object of rectangle class. Rectangle rec equals to new rectangle, rec dot set height equals to 6, rec dot set width equal to 7, Oh, sorry, it is a method, not a property. 6, 7. Now rec dot get area. Let's check it, how it is going to perform. It did not print anything because we did not printed anything. Let's store it in some other variable named area and now print it. Console.writeLine area. Okay, it has printed 42. 6 into 7 42. Okay, this topic is done now. Our next topic will be interface. Interfaces. So interfaces are basically a contract, and that contract will be enforced to the derived classes. Those classes are using the interfaces must have to enforce that contract. So let me explain it through the examples. First of all, create an interface. Public interface email service. Okay, it is. And here are some properties of interface. It must be public, and properties, and inside it you cannot assign access modifier to its members. And you cannot define any methods inside it. You can only declare the methods inside it. So we are going to declare a signature of the method or member inside it. Suppose our email service has method name void send email. Just okay. So we have designed our contract inside which there is a method send email, and any class which is going to use that interface must have to implement this method. Okay, now create a class name email service. And inherit email service. It is throwing an error which is email service does not implement interface member email service send email. So there is an enforcement law that you have to define this method here, otherwise it is gonna create an error. So just define this method here, public void send email. Now error is gone. Just print console.write email has sent. So let's see how to use interfaces. So you cannot assign memory to the interfaces directly. For that you have to create a class and inherit that interface, and then create a memory of, then assign a memory to that class, like this email service es equals to new email service. So it is the interface and it is the class. How it goes: es dot send email. Let's compile the code. Email is sent. So it is the interface. And now move to the next topic called properties. So what are properties? Properties are just a member of a class like variables, but it has some benefits, like you can validate your properties and you cannot validate your members like variables. So let's check how to use properties. Public class student. So before properties we just defined some private variables like private name, private string name, private string city, and then we access them through the methods like public string set name and public void set name and get name and set city and get city. Here we will pass n and assign name equals to n. And here it will return a string type which will return name. Okay, then you are thinking why we need to do this. We can just use name and city, but here is the catch. If you want to put some validation logic in these fields, then you cannot set them directly. You have to write those methods and you have to write those logics here. Suppose you do not want to enter a user blank name and you want to validate it with the required field. So we have created those methods for the validation purpose, but it is a lengthy code. So Microsoft has created properties for these kind of stuff, for shortening these kind of stuff. So this code can be replaced just with prop double tap string name and city. So you can use only properties and write your validation logics here inside the get block and inside the set block. Okay, we are not writing any validation logic now. I am just telling you for the information purpose. Email. Let's see how to use these properties inside the main method. First of all, we need to create an object of a student, and now we can assign value to the name John, and city equals to email equals to john@xyz.com. Here we have set the value of name and email. Now we will see how to get value from those properties. Just print console.writeLine obj.name and city also, email also. Let's run the application, and here it has printed John and xyz.com. So it is done for today. I hope you have learned from it, and if you really like the video, then please do not forget to subscribe the channel and like this video. Okay, thank you very much.